being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec, notice of which was sent to the record in the Star Ledger and was posted on the municipal bulletin board.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Here. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Here.
Councilmember Pataglia. Here. Mayor LaBrus.
Here. Would everybody please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And I do have a proclamation tonight. It's a short one. For all you men in council chambers tonight, whereas June is Men's Health Month, which began in 1994 to heighten the awareness of preventable male health problems and early detection and treatment to reduce the rate of mortality from disease, and whereas men who are educated about preventive health and their role as productive family members are more likely to participate in health screenings, fathers who maintain a healthy lifestyle are role models for their children. And whereas the Men's Health Month website has been established at www.menshealthmonth.org and features resources and information about awareness, events, and activities, including Wear Blue for Men's Health Month. And whereas Men's Health Month will focus on a broad range of men's health issues, including heart disease, mental health, diabetes, prostate, testicular, and colon cancer, and whereas the citizens of Hackensack are encouraged to increase awareness of the importance of a healthy lifestyle, regular exercise, and medical checkups. Now, therefore, I, John P. LaBrosse Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with the members of the City Council, do hereby proclaim June as Men's Health Month and encourage all our citizens to pursue preventive health practices and early detection efforts. That's that. And with that, City Manager's report, please.
We have minutes. We need to.
Oh, I'm
approve
sorry.
minutes.
Approval of the minutes for the Cowan regular meeting, minutes of May 7th, 2019.
And Councilwoman Van Rudenberg, you were absent.
Okay, so I need a motion, please.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. One abstention. City Manager's report.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council, invited guests. This is the City Manager's report for June 11, 2019. 1, the city is gearing up for its annual 4th of July event. Flyers are available at City Hall for information available on our website. Featured performance is the Infernos. Thanks to Toyota of Hackensack, once again sponsoring the fireworks by the Garucci Fireworks Company. They're the ones that do the Macy's fireworks display. Our summer concert series will be starting on July 16th with the New Power Soul. The flyers are available at City Hall and additional information at hackensack.org. Hackensack's next food truck Friday will be this Friday, June 14th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the Courthouse Green. Come join in our food, music, and fun. Building Department update. 186 notices written, 361 inspections made, 26 summonses issued, 16 CCOs done, 34 OPA requests were fulfilled. Citywide recycling pickup changes are now in effect. If you have any questions, please contact our DPW. Our community garden is now open. Please refer to hackensack.org for registration information. City's Shred event is scheduled for Saturday, June 15th from 9 to 1 p.m. at the Sears parking lot. Finally, M&M Building will be, M&M Building has obtained its TCO, which is a temporary certification of occupancy, and our organizers will have the official dedication event on July 22nd. There'll be more details to come. Eventually, there will be an open house, but the proposed dedication date is July 22nd, which will also be the night of our council meetings. And that completes the city manager's report.
Thank you. Okay, Resolution 243-19.
This is it's a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 24-2019. An ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Vehicles and Traffic to add new handicapped parking space in 49.2 parking for the handicapped on Beach Street. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Need a motion to open to the public, please?
Offer.
All in favor? Aye. None opposed? Anybody who'd like to speak from the public on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, a motion to close to the public.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
All in favor? Aye. None opposed?
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 24-2019 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 244-19.
This is a resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 25-2019, a capital ordinance of the City of Hackensack in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, authorizing for various acquisitions, improvements to city-owned facilities and appropriating $400,000 and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from the fund balance of the general capital fund of the City of Hackensack. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Okay, need a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Anybody from the public who'd like to speak on ordinance 244-19? I'm sorry, ordinance 25-2019, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to adopt ordinance 25-2019.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed?
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 25-2019 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 245-19.
Okay, Mayor, this is a resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 26-2019, an ordinance adopting Green Street redevelopment plan consisting of block 82.01, lots 25.01, 27, 28, 30.01, 30.02, I had a typo, I'm sorry,
Yeah, it should be 01 and...
and 30.03. This
Okay.
ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing. Then after that, we'll have to table it for the vote because it hasn't been before the planning board yet.
Okay.
So
So
we
I need a motion to open this to the public, please.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak to this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward.
Okay, good evening, Kathleen Salvo, 47 Lodi Street, Hackensack. Is this the recycling slash where we had the salt,
Yes.
Yes.
at the property? Okay, so have any provisions been made to relocate all this stuff before we do this? I mean, are we gonna be out in the street with the things that are there now? Have we made any?
Well, we've already
Provision?
moved the salt dome,
I know that,
Gone.
thank you, I know.
and the rest is minimal.
Well, recycling?
We still have the recycling on Green Street.
Yeah,
Yeah,
would
but this
move.
is the property that you wanna develop, so where are you gonna put the recycles?
Right. We are in the process of making the arrangements to move recycling back down to the DPW.
Okay,
And the equipment and the rest of that will either be auctioned off or cleaned out.
okay, so you're gonna clean that whole corner?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the other thing, when you do the recycling, it'd be nice to have it open more hours or have somebody down there so people could come after work and bring magazines or bring newspapers or something. Bergenfield has it, where a lot of the places have it, where you can just ride in at any point and bring it and
That's
ride
separate
out.
from this ordinance, Mrs.
Because it's
Sal.
limited, they close at 4 and...
I understand, but it's not part of this, really part of this.
Okay, well, I'm just saying,
ordinance,
that's
so it
something
shouldn't-
to consider when you're relocating.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Anybody else from the public like to speak to this ordinance? Seeing no one from the public, motion to close.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt, I need a motion to table this ordinance, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion's, ordinance is tabled. Resolution 246-19.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 27-2019, an ordinance adopting Anderson Street redevelopment plan amendment consisting of block 419, lots 18, 22, 26, and 27. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
I have a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Your name to the clerk,
Is
please.
this the Rudy Restaurant?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Location?
Yes.
Okay, I was at planning board last week when Fran came up and he proposed to maximize the area. I believe it went from 160 to the minimum of 120. Maximizing the, is that a word? Maximizing the apartments and minimizing the parking. You know, when you do these things, like the record, there's so much room and you could do whatever you want there. Or where the police department was, the county police, there's so much room you could do what you want. But nobody takes in consideration the present state of that street. It's so overcrowded, there's no parking at all, and then you're gonna put this Jagungo facility there, with less parking. You don't allow for company parking or anything else. So what's going to happen is the people who have extra cars are gonna try to park them on the street, which is gonna kill all those businesses that are there, because there's a flow. As happened with the cultural art building, when you didn't have enough of parking and they thought they were gonna have street parking, and that other apartment building charged money for the people to park, so they all monopolized it every night with cars from that place. Parking is really, really a problem in Hackensack, and to put this big building here with not enough parking, just one per unit, which is not enough, and then it's going to kill everything else that's there. I mean, it's such a already crowded area, and you're maximizing in all these apartments that you're doing, and it kills any of the businesses because there's no parking for anybody to go to any of those stores. So I don't know why it was maximized. Why can't we do little buildings and see how they go, and instead of just overpopulating Hackensack? How many more buildings are we going to do? When is this going to stop? Is there a target date of 500,000? What are we up to now? What's
that's
going
okay.
on? People wondering. It's getting it's crazy. We don't need more people. We
Kathleen,
don't
as
need
long
more
as there's a
people.
market,
We don't know. Have they rented it? You haven't rented a building
the
yet.
city is not
Right.
the investor here, so as long as the
They wouldn't be
development
building them
community
if there
is
wasn't a
engaged,
market.
so
You
the
don't know that,
market
John. You didn't finish.
is
You haven't finished
built-
one building
Excuse
yet.
me, do you want us to answer or do you want to speak?
All right.
I'll
I'm
wait.
just saying.
Well, if there's no market and you're not gonna rent, we won't have a parking issue then, so
But then we'll have empty buildings. What are we going to do with them?
you're still gonna pay taxes
This
on them, or
building
pilots.
is almost
They could
on
abandon
top of the train station, and this will be marketed and sold to folks that are gonna be using public transportation.
But
Look at
how
many of
many-
the other communities that are doing this in transit villages or in areas where you're very close to public transportation. You encourage the use.
But there's not enough room to do this. There's not
All
enough.
right,
You
let's-
encourage
Okay,
the
again,
use.
just for the record, Hackensack out of Bergen County is the most populated city in Bergen County.
Because we're a city.
Why do we need more people? We need a police force. We're 20 men short of policemen.
We're
And
the
you can't
county
even
seat, we have
service
mass
it.
transit, we're located between
and
every major highway artery
Too many people.
there
Kathleen,
is,
when
there's a
you-
million
when you
reasons.
rent an apartment, the condition is that there is one parking spot per apartment. The folks that
And
will be,
everybody
the
has
mar,
more than one car.
the market they will be attracting are folks that are gonna be using public transportation, which is something that should make you happy, less cars.
They don't use public
Makes me happy. Thank you.
Okay. Motion to
And
adopt,
We
please?
gotta close the public, is anybody else?
Oh, motion to close the public, sorry.
It's okay. Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion to adopt the ordinance, please.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Be resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 27-2019 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 247-19.
Resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 28-2019, a bond ordinance providing for the installation of streetscape improvements along Main Street by and in the City of Hackensack in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, appropriating $6,600,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $6,600,000 bonds or notes of the city to finance part of the cost thereof.
Need a motion, please, to introduce?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed?
Be resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 28-2019 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on June 25th, 2019, at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 248-19.
The next one is resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 29-2019, an ordinance to clarify the rate of compensation to be paid to off-duty law enforcement officers when required during excavation projects.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor? Aye. None opposed?
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 29-2019 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on June 25th, 2019 at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 249-19.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 30-2019, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack, Vehicles and Traffic, to add new handicap parking spaces in Section 49.2, parking for the handicapped.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed?
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 30-2019 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on June 25th, 2019 at 8:00 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. That was 250, correct?
That was
249?
49.
I'm sorry. Resolution 250-19.
A resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 31-2019, an ordinance amending Chapter 90 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Food and Drink to include electronic smoking devices.
Need a motion, please?
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 31-2019 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on June 25th, 2019 at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to the law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 251-19.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 32-2019, an ordinance amending Chapter 32 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Police Department to increase the number of authorized police lieutenants from 7 to 10.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed?
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 32-2019 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on June 25th, 2019 at 8:00 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city's clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 252-19.
This is a resolution authorizing the tax appeal attorney to settle the cases on the attached list dated May 17th, 2019, that were scheduled for trial or settlement.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 253-19.
This is a resolution approving the memorandum of agreement between the City of Hackensack and the Hackensack Professional Firefighters, IAFF Local 2081.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Resolution 254-19.
Resolution adopting the agreement between the City of Hackensack and the Hackensack Uniform Fire Officers Association, IAFF Local 3172, AFL-CIO CLC, for the period January 1, 2019 through December 31st, 2022.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 255-19.
This is a resolution adopting the agreement between the City of Hackensack and the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge Number 16 for sergeants for the period January 1, 2016 through December 31st, 2016.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 256-19.
This is a resolution adopting the agreement between the City of Hackensack and the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge Number 16 sergeants for the period January 1, 2017 through January 31st, 2018.
Need a motion, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Is that the right date on that?
Did you say January or December when you read it? Isn't it
Is it January
1st?
1st, 2017?
Into the December 31st of
December
18.
31st, 2018.
Okay, I
Right.
thought you said January.
Yep.
Misunderstood, I'm sorry.
Resolution 257-19.
A resolution adopting the agreement between the City of Hackensack and the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge Number 16 lieutenants and captains for the period January 1, 2016 through December 31st, 2018.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. 258-19.
A resolution adopting the agreement between the City of Hackensack and the UPSEU Hackensack White Collar Employees for the period January 1, 2018 through December 31st, 2021.
Need a motion, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 259-19.
A resolution authorizing accrued time payout of $77,369.04 to Court Administrator Elizabeth Pizzillo, who's retired.
Need a motion to pay Mrs. Pizzillo?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 260-19.
A resolution authorizing accrued time payout of $128,049.44 to Police Lieutenant James Price, who's also retired.
Need a motion, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 None opposed. Resolution 261-19.
A resolution requesting approval of items of revenue and appropriation NJSA 40A:4-87, 2019 Summer Food Program Grant.
Need a motion, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 262, -19.
This is a resolution awarding cooperative purchasing contract and correcting Resolution 213-19 for the purchase and installation of a replacement turf field for Johnson Park.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution, were you right there, boss?
I'm fine. I drank too much water.
Better check him on the way out, Pete. Resolution 263-19.
Is a resolution authorizing change order number 2, New Prince Contract Construction for Main Street, State Street Traffic Signal Improvement Project.
Need a motion?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 264-19.
A resolution authorizing award of contract for engineering services for Lot D parking lot redevelopment project to Desmond Design Management.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 265-19.
A resolution awarding contract for engineering services for information technology system capabilities for the M&M Recreation Building to Suburban Consulting Engineers.
Need a motion, please?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Resolution 266-19.
Is a resolution awarding the New Jersey State contract for pothole road repair to Patch Management, Inc., doing business as Pothole Killers.
Need a motion to fill the potholes.
Offer.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 267-19.
A resolution awarding a bid contract for 2019 road resurfacing improvements to New Prince Concrete Construction.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 268-19.
This is a resolution authorizing the awarding New Jersey State contract for the purchase of portable police radios to Motorola Solutions, Inc.
Need a motion?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 269-19.
A resolution authorizing the City of Hackensack's tax collector to prepare and mail estimated tax bills in accordance with PL 1994C.72.
Need a motion, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 270-19.
A resolution authorizing tax refunds for duplicate payments and state board judgment.
Need a motion, please?
Offer. Second.
All in
Sorry, who
favor?
offered?
Who offered?
Kathy and David.
Need a motion, not a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 271-19.
Resolution authorizing award of New Jersey state contract for the purchase of fiber-based radio equipment for the Hackensack Fire Department.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 272-19.
Is a resolution authorizing the award of change order number 1 to New Prince Concrete for parking lot improvements at the M&M Recreation
Need
Center.
a motion, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 273-19.
The resolution authorizing the payment of bills.
Need a motion to pay the bills, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Consent agenda, has everybody checked? They have no conflicts on the consent
No.
agenda? Seeing no conflicts up here, motion to read the consent agenda as it stands.
The consent agenda consists of Resolution 274-19 through 284-19. Following items are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted in one motion. Any items requiring expenditures are supported by a certification of availability of funds. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda, and consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes, including any exceptions and/or additions. Resolution 274-19 is a resolution authorizing the issuance of requests for qualifications for professional services to the City of Hackensack. Resolution 275-19 is a resolution authorizing renewal of liquor licenses for the 2019-2020, there's a typo, I'm sorry, license term. Resolution 276-19 is a resolution authorizing renewal of liquor license for Donnelly Restaurant Associates for the 2018-2019 and 2019-2020 license terms. Resolution 277-19 is a resolution in support of Never Forget the Heroes, permanent authorization of the September 11th Victims' Compensation Act. Resolution 278-19 is a resolution authorizing Health Department refund in the amount of $200 collected in error for a health business license. 279-19 is a resolution appointing Susan Banson and Ryan Westra as members of the Bergen County Regional Community Development Committee. Resolution 280-19 is a resolution confirming vacancy on the Shade Tree Advisory Committee. Resolution 281-19 is a resolution authorizing recreation refunds for park permit deposits and volleyball registration. Resolution 282-19 is a resolution authorizing the shared services agreement with County of Bergen for ADA engineering design work for curb ramps. 283-19 is a resolution authorizing a shared service agreement with County of Bergen for ADA engineering design work for the design. And Resolution 284-19 is a resolution authorizing the shared services agreement with the County of Bergen to participate in the county road resurfacing program. And we need a motion.
Need a motion to accept the consent agenda as it was read?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Okay. I just want to quick take out before we open to the public. There's one thing that was in the consent agenda which is very important to a lot of us. It was Never Forget the Heroes, permanent authorization of the September 11th Victims' Compensation Act. There's communities very close to us, a rather large one, that is deciding not to fund health care and care for people who are involved in the cleanup. A lot of our first responders, including people from this very city, have died of cancer resulting from going over there and helping clean up the mess over there from that horrible day. And that's continuing through all the communities in this area, to all the first responders who went over there and helped. And the fact that any community would deny benefits and health care to the people who took care of that, cleaning up that terrible, terrible incident back in September of 2001 should be ashamed of themselves. And I am total support of these people. And it's actually called the James Zadroga 9/11 Health and Compensation Act of 2010. It was passed when Obama was president. on January 2nd of 2011. He signed it into law, and that law should be upheld as far as I'm concerned. I just wanted to bring it up before we open to the public. So with that, I need a motion to open to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Anybody from the public who'd like to speak? Please come forward, give your name to the clerk. You will have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening, Carolyn Davis. I didn't have time to make copies of this, so I'm just going to show it to the city manager. On most of the blocks where they made the sidewalks accessible to wheelchairs, my block doesn't appear to be that way. So I'm going to show you the picture. This is what most of them look like.
Right, that's an ADA drop curb, yes.
This is what one side looks like. They never completed that.
What's the street address?
It's
Stanley Place.
Got it.
Is that the one near Railroad, down the end?
No,
Or at the
near
corner of
Street.
First?
It's like this great big abutment. It's not flat to the
So on
ground.
one side it's there, and the other side it's not, so when you cross the,
And it sticks out. So it's up.
okay,
Okay.
Okay.
good catch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second thing I just want to say, this is just my own personal opinion. I've always said I agree with development. In my 71 years, I've traveled to a lot of big cities, like many of you. Atlanta, Georgia, Birmingham, Alabama, going to the city of Manhattan, Chicago. And every time I went through these big cities, I always said it's a nice place to visit, but I'm glad to go home. I'm beginning to feel like my town is starting to look like that. Maybe a nice place to visit, but it doesn't feel like home anymore. I think the development has gone just a little bit too far. I understand we need development, but the traffic that we have now in Hackensack, the hustle bustle, the crime I think is going to increase. I no longer feel like I live in the community that I used to live in. I really feel like I'm living in one of those big cities that I used to like to visit, but is always glad to return home. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, please.
Good evening, Gail Wells, 160 Overlook Avenue. City Manager, I want to thank you for your effort in trying to get that make and model number. Kind of no surprise to me that they are cowardly and did not want to offer up that information. To some of you sitting in front of me, this may look familiar from 2 years ago when I put this packet together at the planning board. I'm not going to go over the packet, but there is something specific to that, to what's in there that I do want to give one copy to you, one copy to the attorney, and the rest the council to look at. And that has to do with the nuisance ordinances and the ordinances of protection for the public. And as it states, Ordinance 119-7, disturbance of peace and quiet. No person shall by noise or conduct disturb the quiet repose of others in the neighborhood to the detriment of health or morals of any human being. B, no person shall disturb or destroy the peace of the neighborhood in such a manner as to be detrimental to the security or health or morals of any human being. Okay, then we have another ordinance. Well, I'm not going to waste my time reading it. You can read it. I want to know how that's going to play out in enacting and doing something to protect my neighborhood. Tonight happens to be a beautiful night, and I'd like to sleep with my windows open, and I can't because I am constantly bombarded with the noise of those gates going up and down. It's not like machine shop noise where it's loud and you're going to lose your hearing over it. It's the kind of noise that triggers the nervous system, the central nervous system. So now every time I hear that kind of jolting noise, I could be anywhere. I don't have to be in my apartment. I feel that same anxiety. I get into bed at night. You're supposed to get into bed and relax to go to sleep. At 10 o'clock, when those gates go down and they're in use, that's when my anxiety revs up. It's not fair. And the fact that they will not present a make and model number to show that those gates are rated for the use that they're intended, just shows how cowardly they are, and that the city did not do its due diligence by making sure, because the person who signed the building permit to give them the permission to do that was CC'd on all of the prior emails when we were going through this stage of this matter. So, you know, in terms of responsibility, of course, the ultimate responsibility lies on the property owner because they chose those gates. But right on the heels of him is the city, because the city allowed for this to take place. There's strobing lights, and there are bottles being thrown out at 1 o'clock in the morning from Pico Tavern. I'd like to know who I need to contact to make sure that bottles are not thrown out at 1 a.m. and that the strobing light gets taken care of. If you can just give me a name, and then I'll leave.
Property maintenance.
It'll be the city manager, obviously, people that throw bottles and cans from vehicles or
No,
walking.
no. It's Pico Tavern who is taking out their recycling
Oh.
into the dumpster that backs up to the edge of their property, which is, again, right next to these roll-up gates, which is, again, 50 feet from my bedroom window. There should be certain hours that Pico Tavern can throw out.
I agree with that. I think we should.
Okay, so, if you could just let me know who to talk to, or if you're gonna
I
talk
have your
to.
information.
We will deal with it.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you.
For the time, Mayor, what town were you referring to before? I'm just curious.
I believe it's areas that New York City, I think, was looking to do it, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
you said, well, that town did not support the,
That they were trying to pass a law to not compensate, moving forward, not compensate, to
New
stop
York
the
City?
compensation.
New York City?
New York City, I thought it was, unless I read it.
Oh, no, I
Read it wrong.
Thank you.
That's,
Richard Salkin, Hackensack. Mrs. Canestrino, on May 21st, you stuck by your position that the reason you supported a provision in a 2016 agreement with the medical center that would have taken the medical center, Medical Plaza building, 20 Prospect, off the tax rolls was due to your commitment to, quote, sound risk management. That statement is beyond the category of absurd. It actually belongs in the file marked ridiculous. The agreement between the city and the medical center that keeps 20 Prospect taxable and the second highest taxable piece of property in the city is now 23 years old. Both parties have recognized its validity. Indeed, the medical center signed an agreement in 2018, again confirming taxable status of the building. But you claim that, quote, no one can predict the future. That's not true, Mrs. Canestrino. Some of us get paid to do exactly that, and we do it well. You added that you had seen an application from the medical center to establish the tax-exempt status of 20 Prospect. Unfortunately for you, Oprah exists. I have opened the filing of the requisite applications for tax-exempt property owned by the medical center since 2015. Needless to say, the property under 20 Prospect is not among the properties. That which you claim you saw does not exist. Here's a copy. Pass on up. And why this grand charade? Why did you attempt to sell out Hackensack taxpayers until the court stopped you? You know, it's really not hard to figure out the reason for what I consider a betrayal. The 2016 agreement sought to convert $4.7 million in annual tax payments to $3.4 million in an annual pilot payment. Remember, folks, the city council does not have to share pilot payments with the school system. So a $3.4 million pilot payment going to the city's side is better for the council's tax rate than one half of a $4.7 million tax payment. The taxpayer still gets abused, but Mrs. Canestrino gets to goose up the Board of Ed's percentage share of the tax burden and even have a new pie chart with which to sashay around town. Shame on you, Mrs. Canestrino. Cheap politics trumping concern for and the well-being of our taxpayers. Now, on May 21st, Regina DePasqua said, repeating a lie doesn't make it true. Let me add this corollary to that. When you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. Every time you lie or foolishly try to spin this sorry attempted transaction into the greatest thing since sliced bread, I'm going to come back and expose you just like this, again and again.
next, please.
I'm sorry, before he was, Ted, do we still have the copy of the, remember the copy of the exemption that we brought to the meeting with the hospital?
We
Do you
do.
still have that in the file? If we still have that in the files,
have-
maybe we can get a copy of it from Mr. Salter, because we had a copy of it, and it was presented to us. So, we can make, I'll make sure that we'll try and recover it for you, but it was presented at a later meeting. Again, to answer that question, these decisions were not made by myself or any of the council members. These decisions were made by the current city attorney at that time. This council.
I would say not the current city attorney,
Current
the
city
city
attorney.
attorney at that time.
I'm sorry, the current city attorney at that time. The one that was current at that time, I'll correct my English. And the council followed the advice of that city attorney, who also happened to be a prior judge. Now, a different judge did not agree with that decision, and I'm sure this happens legally many times, where you have one set of folks and attorneys and judges that have one decision and another set that make another decision. We made this decision, this council made this decision under his advice, and it was presented to us as the proper and correct thing to do at that point in time, because they were pursuing an exemption. The exemption, they did not file at that time because of the settlement. They filed it at a later time, when we were having a secondary discussion, when all of this arose, and that is the copy that the city was presented. Well, if we can, hopefully we still have it, Ted, because we had it at our meeting with the medical center, and we had the copy with all the signatures, and as far as I know, Ted, yes? It was 100%. It was 100%, and it was filed. And they withdrew it at that point in time. That's to the best of my recollection. And I remember it happening. I think the city manager will confirm it happened. Jim, I don't know if you were at that meeting. You were there. Do you remember seeing it?
No, I didn't see it, but it was, the
Presented.
assessor said it was filed, the hospital agreed that it was filed, and the hospital agreed to withdraw it.
Withdraw it. So that was, now, Rick, if all of the people sitting at that table, and there was a host of attorneys at that table, if all of them lied and made up a fake document that they passed around, then you're correct. But that is what happened, and I have two people that were witnesses of that meeting, and that's exactly, there's not lies,
All right.
there's not discussion.
Let's get the
That is-
document.
No, I'm
Go
tired
forward.
of being called a liar. I'm tired of this, John.
Well-
That is the truth. There's people here that were at that meeting, and that information was presented. And I think that needs to be on the record. You can't come up here and continually call people liars because of maybe misinformation that you have. That was the information that was presented. No, we're not going back and forth. We're not going back and forth. That was the information, that was the information that was presented to the city. The case, we will see what action the hospital chooses to take. If they choose to pursue it, it will wind up in the courts once again. And as I have said repeatedly, that number will be decided by a tax court, whether they will pay 0 or whether they will pay 4.3. I hope it's not a penny less than the 3.4 that was negotiated by our former city attorney. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please. Sorry, sir.
That's okay. See, we got some issues here. All right. Hi, my name is James Snapper.
Please, let the man
Sorry.
speak, please. Thank you.
Hi, my name is James Apatine. I live at 46 Anderson Street. I'm here today. Primarily I'm here for safety reasons. Not so much necessarily I'm here for me particularly, but I'm here because I live at 46 Anderson Street, which is joined at Union Street, which is a big, large opening in regards to a street opening. We have 2 churches there that service schools. We also have the middle school that's right down the street. We also have a Lutheran church right down the street. We also have about 1,600 residents that I've been kind of adding up in my own head, and we have 33 parking spots. So with that said, I want to talk about safety because I can't sit here and talk about parking all night. Safety, 46 Anderson and Union Street. We don't have a crosswalk. There's no crosswalk crossing that. We're at the bus stop. So what happens is on a daily basis, I either almost get killed or little children are getting almost killed crossing that street. It kind of, people speed on Anderson. There's really no area for a police officer to attend and to really catch them. So people tend to speed a little bit more than 25 on that street. We have a crossing guard over at Pagorn Place, but north of that, or excuse me, east of that, there's no designated crosswalk. We don't even have a sign at Pagorn saying, hey, listen, pedestrians right away to walk. I thought that's the law in New Jersey. I don't know if that applies to Hackensack. But I know it applies to Fancy Ridgewood, Ramsey, Montvale, and all these other nice places. So I would like to see that happen for the safety of the children, since there's probably about 600 to 700 children that walk past there every day. Now, I personally stop traffic for these people when I have to, when I'm available. And I've been doing it for 3 years. I don't mind keep doing it, but I think if we can raise a little money for a traffic light there, since it's a blind spot, if you're coming from Union to Anderson, if you go either left or right, it's blind. You cannot see. And when a car's going at the rate of 25 miles an hour or more, and that stop sign's recessed at Second Reformed Church, so they have to keep inching up into Anderson. By the time they see it, that car's already there, and we're at a point of like accident. So there's been 2 accidents there on Anderson Street at the parking spots adjacent to Second Reformed Church. There's 6 spots, 2 accidents within the last 2 years there. We have people driving from the alcohol, the beverages places down the street, so that tends to be late at night, and that's when those problems happen. So most importantly, I'm here with the crosswalk, and I truly believe, I mean, I don't know how your process goes in regards to maybe implementing a light. You could do flashing red light, flashing yellow light. You could put a full light in there. I'd rather not have the traffic. I'd rather have flashing yellow and flashing red, because it will slow down traffic. Obviously, if you see a flashing yellow or a flashing red, it'll slow down traffic. So you don't really have to police the area so much. But definitely essential. I would request that the city sincerely consider putting a crosswalk at the bus stop, where it's approximately 40 yards. I do everything by yards, about 40 yards wide. So
I'm going to ask that the city manager have our police department do a traffic study of the area.
yeah, that'd be awesome.
You know,
Get
lights,
your information, sir, so I
Sure.
can get back to you.
traffic lights aren't at our discretion. A lot of times we need what's called a warrant or a warranted use.
Okay,
Put a traffic light in, whether
All
it
right.
warrants it or not.
absolutely.
A stop
if-
sign could be something else, but
Okay, that's excellent. I'm glad to hear that, and I will definitely forward my information to you. And you can do a traffic study there. That'd be great, because I've been doing it for about 3 years, and I haven't been getting paid for it, by the way. Secondly, parking. We have 1,600. If I may, really quick, we have
I'm sorry,
parking
sir.
is.
You only give 3 minutes and your
So
time
come
is
back
up.
next time.
You can come back next time, or if you want to grab us afterwards.
Safety first. I'll do the
We're-
kids first, and then I'll worry
We're
about me.
available afterwards. You can grab us, or you can meet with the city manager, your choice. He'll be glad to sit with you and
I
talk
like
to
to
you.
speak. I took public speak.
Name, address, and cell number, like a quick.
Sir, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm going to wait till this gentleman's finished with
Not a problem.
Mr. Aaron.
Understood.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Name, address, and cell number, so I can get back to you.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Lisa, are you ready?
Okay.
Thank you.
Sir,
I'm Rich Serbo, 46 Spring Valley Avenue, Hackensack, New Jersey. Now, you know, it was Gandhi that said, life is not about how fast we can go. And I am tired of coming to this podium and being in a hurry with what I have to say. There's a lot to say. You're stifling voices from the public, and we are going to scream about this forever. Okay, let's start. First of all, let's talk politics, John. Okay, in a very, very nonpartisan city. Deliberately so, because we deal with city services here. So there's no partisan politics here. But last week, you brought up that the local congressman brings home the bacon for you, and that you liked it. You said Josh Gottheimer is a wonderful guy because he's brought in so much to Hackensack, okay? It's partisan, it shouldn't be done, but but you went ahead and did it. And even tonight, again, you mentioned Democrats when it comes to giving, what was it, insurance to people that suffer.
I didn't mention the party, I mentioned the city, which I want to speak to, by the way. I looked something up.
No, but you mentioned the party that Obama passed some kind of something to.
No, he was the president who passed it.
Right. Which
That's public record. All I'm doing is stating public record.
Okay, and that had to do with 9/11. Okay, but even myself, who I visited down there after 9/11 several times because it was just so horrible, I thought I could get down there and help at some point. So I was going in, and every day at some point, and they actually offered me money. So how could you say that people are being kept from given insurance money for the damage that they had done to their health down there, when they offered me money going down there to try to help give out food and water, and I turned it down, okay? So keep your partisan politics to yourself. This is a nonpartisan city, and
Was it, if I offended you, I'm sorry, but it's a nonpartisan comment. Has nothing to, it's about protecting people who gave up their lives and their health
right?
to clean up that mess that was down there, and that people are still dying over it. It's just a matter of time before, actually, I think we're past the point where we've lost more first responders after that day than we lost that day. Maybe you guys know.
All right, but you said that they're being denied.
Well, I'm going to, go ahead, when you're done. Your time is up, and I'm going to respond to that because I want to answer Mr. Solkin's
Okay,
question.
again, my time is up, and we've had it with this time
So
limit.
if there was no
here.
time, you could sit here for 5 hours and I'd go home
No,
at 4
it
in the
wouldn't
morning
be
and go to work.
5 hours.
Well-
We're reasonable people. Maybe you're not, but we're reasonable, okay? And it wouldn't be 5 hours, but we need more time at this freaking podium. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Trying to get back to where I was. I want to apologize because I was reading a New York City website from NYPD, but it was actually Congress who, failing to ensure that the Victims' Compensation Fund set up after 9/11 never runs out of money, and Congress did not take the move to vote on it. So it's nationally. So my bad on that. But thank you. But the fact that that could happen is beyond me. So.
Again, Kathleen Salvo. The gentleman before Rich just confirmed what I said about Anderson Street. It's very heavily populated now, and we're going to bring all these 160 units with minimum 2 people in each, and cars. Every person has a car that drives. It's a fallacy to think that that doesn't happen. Also on Anderson Street, I know exactly what he's talking about. The park projects out so that when you're passing the church, you have to jut out like 3/4 of a way. It's not a crisp corner, and you can get hit. But also in keeping with safety, I spoke about this last time, the demolition on the corner of Anderson and Main Street does not provide any kind of provisions for people to walk, and they have to walk in the street. And I think that when you go to those pre-construction meetings, that there was no reason why these people have chopped down to the curb. They didn't leave any sidewalk. Unless they're gonna build on the curb now, because I know you have no setbacks. So we're doing curb, we're gonna do on the curb now setbacks? Because all these other properties have no setbacks at all. They should have left the sidewalk. They should have put down plywood like Mr. Anderson has up there for 4 years and is not doing anything. And it's not demolition, it's not building, and he asked for an extension, the plywood on Bridge Street and Main Street, but he's got plywood there to protect I don't know who, and something like this, when I look down, the curb is there and there's a drop. They didn't even leave sidewalk for the pedestrians to walk. That's such a bad corner. And like that gentleman said, there's a lot of people, a lot of children that live on that block. So how are they walking to get to Main Street? They have to walk on the other side, or they're not. They're walking in the street. So when you have your pre-construction meetings and you meet with these builders, think about the people of Hackensack. Think about what we have to go through and that you're jeopardizing our safety. And let them put the walls up and give us a sidewalk. You did it on Sussex, gave us a sidewalk on Sussex. You did it on all the other places, and you didn't do it on this very important corner. And there's no reason for that. And I don't see that anywhere. I go all over. I don't see it in New York. I don't see it any other demolition. There's no reason for them doing that. Thank you.
Regina DePasqua, Parker Avenue. First, yay, finally, thank you, about half a dozen contracts, agreements approved. But I noticed that 2 FOP are only through 2018, so I hope you're working on bringing those up to date. And I hope you're finally going to help this poor woman on Overlook. She's been asking you for, I mean, I know her story inside out now. She's been asking for a while. She shouldn't have to live like that. Mrs. Canestrino, I'm sorry you don't like being called a liar, but it's the residents' duties to call you out when we think you are. But you know what disturbs me more is a sitting councilman mocking a resident. Dave wasn't brave, John. He wasn't brave. He thought Kathleen was gone when he mocked her last meeting. And John and Leo laughing and Dave mocking, that's wrong. That was very, very wrong. You thought she had left. If you see her, you thought she had left. No, that's wrong. You're sitting up there, and if a resident calls you,
people are out there all the time. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Excuse me.
Sure,
You said, Dave, you're a brave man. It's on video. Check it out. You didn't see the clip? It's been viral all over the place. The Oprah request the information came from the city. The hospital did not file for tax exemption. And everybody that you asked here works for you. So they're agreeing with you. That, oh yes, Kathy, you're right, it was there. And one of them,
Gina, I hope I have a copy
one of
it.
them
I'm
who
sure
was,
Ted does. We will find
you
it.
know, he's not the tax assessor,
We will
Jim.
find it.
And quite frankly, 2 years before he got this job, he was a produce manager at ShopRite. But he sat in at the negotiations with the hospital, not the tax assessor. Okay,
tax assessor was there
and
as well.
Excuse
The
me,
tax
I'm still
assessor
talking. No back
was
and
there.
forth, please. No, I'm still talking. You did not have the tax assessor there.
Yes, we did.
That you're disregarding the agreements that are in stone. They're written in stone. So you're saying what ifs and maybes and your projections. There is an agreement that they cannot renege on, and that they haven't reneged on. Somebody bluffed you, and you novices fell for it. If you had your tax assessor there with you,
did.
no, you didn't. He was not. No,
Yes, he was.
not. He was at one meeting. He was at one meeting. Well, Kathleen, tell her to stop. Okay, you're not gaveling me down. Gavel her down.
I just
I
asked
have
her to
the
please
floor.
stop until you're done.
I
think
have
that's
the
telling her to
floor.
stop.
I'm sorry, she wasn't present at the meetings. I was.
Okay.
I realize
The
that.
tax
You're gonna comment
assessor was at
afterwards.
one meeting, not all of them. But the produce manager was there.
I find that derogatory.
No, it's the truth.
Okay.
He was a produce manager. It's the
Okay.
truth. I'm not making
Tax
it up.
assessor was present.
Like there's
at the
something
meetings.
wrong with that, an honorable profession.
That's not a CPA.
Okay. Sorry, sir.
Hi, Martin Smith, 245 Prospect Avenue, member of the Hackensack Condo Co-op Advisory Board, and member of the Traffic Safety and Street Lighting Committee. I'd like to start off by thanking Deputy Mayor Canestrino for her visit to our building recently to discuss the current flight pattern coming into Teterboro and other issues affecting the city. And we look forward to other visits from you with new information as it becomes available.
My pleasure, thank you.
Last year, June of 2019, our committee came before the council
18.
to discuss the issue of the lack of designated crosswalks here in the city on certain major streets. For the last 6 months or so, we've been concentrating on Prospect Avenue. And initially, we started by asking for designated crosswalks on the entire length of Prospect Avenue. And then we were informed by a member of our committee that sections of Prospect Avenue are in need of resurfacing. And the city probably would not be open to the idea of putting in designated crosswalks in those areas. Those areas are from Passaic Street north to Ross Avenue and from Essex Street south to Mary Street. So currently, for the last several months, we've been concentrating on the area between Passaic and Essex Street, which was recently resurfaced and is in excellent condition. So I'm wondering tonight if we are going to have designated crosswalks placed on Prospect Avenue, at Berry Street, at Golf Place, at American Legion Drive, and at Atlantic Street? Or is this issue off the table?
I will say this, but I'm going to have to defer to the traffic department on this. But I definitely could see the need for them at American Legion Drive, all right? Because I've gone there myself. I go there in the morning. People crossing, you have hundreds of people crossing there every day in the morning, across. I think it's deserving of a crosswalk with a pedestrian sign in the middle. Very similar to the situation we're in on Thompson, which is not an ideal place for a crosswalk because it's right near a light, but people were crossing there anyway, okay? Berry Street's a possibility, but what I want to do is, let's get traffic out there and see if these are feasible. And, and I've already stated, I have major concerns. I had a dear friend killed crossing Prospect, all right, as a pedestrian. And major concerns about mid-block crosswalks. That said, at an intersection as busy as American Legion, is for pedestrian traffic, because the bus stop is right there. So everybody from the apartments on that side of Prospect crosses the street right there. So we need to have a pedestrian traffic study done, not just a regular traffic study. The amount of people crossing the street on those blocks that he's speaking about. So it's American Legion Drive, Berry, Golf,
and Atlantic.
Atlantic.
Outside of the parking garage on Atlantic, the public garage that services the hospital, there are no designated crosswalks at that parking garage, and there are a lot of people that use that garage on a daily basis to go into the hospital.
On Atlantic itself?
On Atlantic itself, yes.
And here's where I'll disagree.
There are no designated crosswalks at that garage.
Yeah, but those people have the opportunity to go up the elevator or the stairs and use the bridge to go across. I don't say who's going to use it.
They may not go up the elevator and go across.
$multi-million bridge built for pedestrians to cross, and nobody uses it, so we're going to now throw them out in the street. That's
I've been involved in traffic safety for many years.
Right.
And to me, safety comes first, not how many people use an intersection. If one person is hit at an intersection and is killed, and if a family came to you and said, why weren't there crosswalks here, and you tell them that that intersection did not meet the parameters because not enough people used it, that would not be a very good answer.
Parameters. We'll go to warrants in I believe our police department. We had four-way stops put up at certain intersections, and we were forced to take them down by the state of New Jersey because they didn't warrant it, even though we made the area safer. That's the state. But again, my major issue. I'm on that road every morning, early in the morning. You come down Atlantic from Prospect going towards down the hill, the sun glare in your eyes, you cannot see anybody. I don't care if they're in a crosswalk or not. That's a dangerous place to cross a block. It's very dangerous.
People don't realize there's sun in your eyes. They expect to see a crosswalk. They feel it will make them safer. It doesn't guarantee their safety, but we have to do everything we can to ensure the safety of the public.
I'm all in favor of crosswalks when they don't lead people into harm's way. That's the way I leave it. If certain areas, I think on a flat area like where there's an actual intersection like American Legion and Prospect, I don't have an issue with those streets like that. But dead center in the middle of a block, as busy as that, I don't know. That one I don't buy into. But that's just my opinion. We're going to have traffic look at it and see what they think. That's going to become a four-way stop, just so you know. All right, at the bottom of the hill.
Berry Street and Golf are T intersections, and they're less obvious to drivers than a four-way intersection would be. And therefore, there is really a need for designated crosswalks at these T intersections.
I don't disagree with that on some of those intersections.
I'm sorry?
I don't disagree with you at some of those intersections.
Okay. Thank
especially
you for your
American
time.
Legion, because I see a lot of people crossing there. Thank you. Anybody else from the public? Motion to close to the public?
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Mrs. Von Buchenborg?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to follow up on the gentleman that lives on Anderson Street. I know exactly what he's talking about. I think one of the things going on over there, as well as throughout the city, is the parking. I noticed that a lot of times the cars are parking close to the corner. I know it happened on Summit Ave, up the block from where I live. The sign was actually removed and we didn't realize it. So maybe down the road, we could kind of look at the parking situation on different corners and see if there, if there is a sign, the sign has to be moved back a little bit, because I think over time it kind of changes, and when cars are going fast on Summit and Prospect and speeding to and from work, it really makes it impossible to get out. So I know what he's talking about in that situation. I think it might be the cars that are also a problem. The city manager mentioned this earlier, the community gardens open. Mr. Chisano, the head of the Environmental Commission, we were discussing a possible dedication or opening date. So we were kind of back and forth, and I think when we get that date solidified, we could see if maybe we could send out like a nixel or do something to kind of do a formal opening. School will be out soon. The last day is the 25th, I believe. And the whole last week is half days for the elementary schools, I was told. So just to be on the lookout for the kids. I know there's a lot of them riding bikes and out in the nice fresh air, which is good. The side park improvements, the dog park, I think, is officially done at that location. We listened to the community and heard their concerns. We're still going to be moving forward with the improvements to the bathrooms and the playground area. So that will be, coming up. So be on the lookout for that. And that's about it. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Steph. Just to give everyone a notice, our next council meeting, which normally would be held 2 weeks from tonight on a Tuesday, we're looking to move it to a Monday because we found out that the high school graduation is going to be that Tuesday, the 25th. So I know the clerk will be.
Yeah, I don't know if we can do that now because of the
Why?
ordinances. I realized that after we talked about it. The ordinances are stated for the 25th.
Yeah, I mean, if we change the meeting to renotice it,
Do we have to, let's make this easy, do we have to have a cow session for that night?
well, I mean, we're required to have 2 meetings in a month.
We have.
But we are
Well,
gonna,
we had
you're gonna
two- we
meet
had two
that,
meetings. Yeah, 2 meetings
you
tonight.
know.
This was 2 meetings.
So, yeah, I mean, you could certainly cancel the Cal meeting without an issue. I'd be concerned about changing a meeting date without a formal resolution doing so. And it would probably, then, potentially be a special meeting. It would create a number of issues to change it at this point. But if you wanted to cancel the Cal meeting,
Because we'll be out of there by 8 o'clock.
If we can cancel the cow meeting, we'll be done.
So if we,
We'll be done by 6:30,
you have
7
to
o'clock.
change the time, Steve, officially, or do you make the regular meeting start at 8?
Cancel and
Or
they-
Yeah, maybe the
no,
council meeting start at 8.
yeah, the council meeting's going to start at the regular time, and you can cancel a meeting, I think, easily enough. It's because, I would make sure to provide as much public notice as possible. I mean,
The other
website, all of
option is
that.
have a shorter cow meeting with a smaller agenda and make it 7. We'll be here by 7.
Yeah.
All right, let's think about this. I mean, we always attend high school graduation, so we really would like
What time
to do
does the
that this
graduation
year.
go?
5 o'clock, so it's like an hour and a half.
2 hours.
Okay, so,
Oh, it's 2 hours. It's 2
We're there
hours.
2 hours. You're going to be there till
Yeah, you
7.
missed the cow meeting, you'd have to.
okay,
just
so
have
you can advertise, we can
It's
have a
500
town
kids.
meeting at 7:30, or just a half hour, and the regular meeting at
Yeah, you
8. Are we gonna need it closed? That's really the kicker.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not going to be here next meeting. John Napolitano will be sitting in for me as well.
I mean, if we don't need to have the committee of the whole meeting, let's just do the council meeting at 8.
Okay.
And we'll do executive session after that.
I'm
Yeah,
good.
yeah, you could just
Okay.
notice.
I even think 7, and then by the time you get out of there, I mean,
Right.
Traffic and everything.
traffic, I would just have the regular council
8
meeting
o'clock,
at 8
no
o'clock.
count meeting, just executive session afterwards.
All right, so I changed my message to the folks watching on TV land, and we will not be having a committee of the whole meeting as of now, but we will have the council meeting 8 o'clock, 2 weeks from tonight. All right, just a quick overview of some of the highlights of what was on the agenda tonight. Again, the city manager, very busy because we settled lots of contracts, and that's always great. So I'm glad to see that, you know, we got a lot of these done and hopefully amicably done as well. Some important things tonight, I mean, we're spending some money doing various computer and radio upgrades throughout the city. Again, very, very important that we make sure the latest and greatest technology is available to the city employees that are here. Some redevelopment stuff, yes, there was an update to the Anderson Street plan. I think that's very exciting. That's a critical piece of development there in that spot very close to the Anderson Street train station. I think it's going to be a nice improvement, and hopefully that will spur more development there on Anderson Street. Green Street, still waiting for planning board approval, but again, another one near a train or practically right on a train station. Again, this is the trend today. You know, folks that do commute, this is what they're looking for. They're looking to not have a car. They're looking to use public transportation and be in a community or a city that provides resources that they enjoy, the live, work, play environment. And that's what I think we're seeing here in Hackensack. So I'm encouraged by all of that. We saw more plans for paving, and Ted mentioned we had some delays with weather and et cetera, but we're going to be in Suez, making sure we coordinated with them, and Main Street Streetscape, trying to say that a couple times fast. Another thing on here was we're having Desmond, our parking consultant, do an analysis if we need a second parking garage, not on Main Street, but middle of Main Street, Lot D, which is the lot that's behind Musical Yours, actually, so if you go across the street from the library. So then we'd have the Atlantic Street garage open for public parking, and then midway up, we are looking at, do we really need another parking garage, perhaps in the Lot D area? So that was also on for approval tonight. Stephanie mentioned the community gardens. They're looking great. I mean, it seemed like the public is really enjoying this and trying to keep away the groundhogs and putting up all kinds of devices to do so. I know that from being in my own backyard garden, but they look beautiful. Another thing we did is, and thanks to the police department, we started our trial drop-off at the Fairmount School. So I heard that it was going well from the youth division, that, you know, there's always little hiccups when you start, but I think that's a good way to do this, kind of do a test run, and then hopefully we hit the ground running in September and have some real plans for all of the schools. Food trucks are this Friday, and they sounds like some really interesting. Always Mike's Smoked Meats is always great, but I hear they're gonna have lobster rolls and the old Mr. Softy. I guess I'm making my sound so all of those of you remember the Mr. Softy truck, but he's supposed to be there as well. I think they're going over. They're very well received. They're on the green from 11 to 3. This Friday sounds like a really fun one. So hope to see you all there. Have a nice night. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. David?
Good night.
That's it?
Yep. That's it?
Leo?
Okay.
He's tired.
The police have been doing a good job around the city, and it's no question that the people is getting tickets, but it's like in other towns, we have to try to establish table bombs just to force the people to reduce the speed. People have to be very careful now that summer. You know, the parents, they go with the kids on bicycles, walking, and some drivers, they continue speeding in the city, they don't care about getting tickets. So table bombs is working in another town, why not in Hackensack? The other problem that I see is bicycles and the sidewalks. We continue with that problem in Main Street. You're walking out of the store and you're gonna get hit one of the days by these bicycles. Should be no bicycles on the sidewalks. And there's an ordinance for that.
Yes, there is.
And the other problem is the people, they park so close to the corner, they block the view. When you want to make a right, sometimes you make a left, you got people that are 5 feet away from the corner. Just look at Habro High. In Habro High, in the corners, they got a yellow paint at least 25 feet that give you no room to make a right or left. And no question that we need maybe this stop sign with some kind of LED type, like they got in other town, because sometimes people at night that they don't know the city, they go across the stop sign and they can hit you right and they can have somebody get killed. I am glad that we're gonna start the paving program. Thank you for coming. Good night.
Thank you. As was mentioned before, 4th of July is right around the corner. We have the big celebration at Fashini Park, the Infernos. We now have the probably the best fireworks display people in the Northeast. Same people do the Macy's Day Parade, or Macy's fireworks for July 4th, not the parade. It'd be a great show. Our summer concert series starts on July 16th. It's the first official show. There's 4 shows. M&M Building, grand opening, ribbon cutting on the 22nd of July, correct? It's great stuff. First Ward, really bad with the bicycles on the sidewalks. We need to, I know it's hard to enforce because they're all over the place, but last week we had a great event here. It gets better every year. We have it here every year as Youth and Government Day. We have a lot of fun with it. A lot of the students shadow different department heads throughout the city, whether it's Jim in finance. How many did you have, Jim? You had 2. CFO had a manager had 2. Clerk had 2 or 3. 2. The council each had somebody. But all the department heads had a student. But the icing on the cake we had 4th graders from Parker School here, little fourth graders, got to witness the faux council meeting and actually participated and got up and asked some questions, and there were good questions too. And it's good that they see that. And this year's topic, it was about pedestrian safety. We're talking about, we were the audience basically. The council becomes the audience. We put seniors in high school up here as council members, and we said about going across a crosswalk using your phone and texting would now be against the law, or having your ears covered crossing the street. It's very dangerous. It's bad enough cars aren't watching, but when cars and the people aren't watching, it's like a recipe for disaster. So I think you're going to see in the future laws like that starting to be initiated to protect people, because walking and talking on the phone when you're going across the street is pretty dangerous. So it was, and by the way, they passed the ordinance to enforce that. So it was a good time. I'll talk about some of the, a lot of the parking spaces, the issues we have in areas like Anderson Street. Those buildings, when they were built, required no parking whatsoever. There's a lot of the buildings in this town do not even have a parking space. A lot of the apartments in that area, or some of them, or they have very few parking spaces, not even 1 per unit. So and you can't do anything about it now because it happened years ago, but that compounds the issue now. But we are going to have to address some of the parking issues over there. All these contracts being settled tonight, kudos to you guys, everybody involved in that. It's a big weight off everybody's shoulders that they're done, and moving forward, we'll get started on them right away again. Youth and Government Day?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, make sure that the people keep the kids in the car seat.
Oh, that horrible accident
Yeah.
on 6th Street.
Yep. Yeah, make sure for everybody out there, don't ever drive especially with an infant in your, on your lap or not in a car seat. That's what car seats are for. Always make sure your kids are in car seats the way they're supposed to be. Up to certain ages, they have to be facing certain directions. Make sure your car seat's in properly. I believe we have people in the police department that checks them and makes sure that they're installed correctly. So that's another way to keep people safe. So that's it for me. So see everybody on the 25th at 8 o'clock, correct?
Yep.
All right. Everybody have a nice night. Get home safely. Thank you. Need a motion to close.
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed.